24, you need glasses sometimes. You can do the work, but you need glasses. You need help. You can't do it alone. When you look at the bottom 34, so 29 to 34, that's like having sand in your eyes. You better have someone to help you. So I am not an Excel spreadsheet, Google Sheet person. I have people that help me. Right. I know now what I do well. And one of the things that entrepreneurs have a tendency to do is think they can do it all. And one of the coaching things that I teach is that you got to get out of your own head and out of your own way. Sometimes you have to spend the money and makes it work by having other people do what they do well and focus on your strengths.
Absolutely. Y'all, today's show is so good.
But number one, I've never seen an intro like that.
It is my hope and desire that not only will episode 30 still be fun, but episode 300 will be even more fun. You were made for something great, so go and be awesome.
Ten seconds remaining.
Hello, and welcome to the show. My name is Renee Hastings, and I'm your host of Renee Speaks. Y'all, today's show is going to be so amazing, partly because our corporate sponsor today is Wilbron, Alabama's premier public relations firm. Y'all, let me tell you about today's guest. Today's guest is Jane McCarthy, a seasoned certified executive coach specialist with over 30 years of experience. She boasts a remarkable tenure at Verizon, where she managed a multi-million-dollar business-to-business loyalty program. Y'all, her coaching style blends creativity, insight, and purposeful strategies tailored to bring out the best in individuals and teams. As an ICF PCC executive coach and Gallup Clifton Strengths executive coach, Jane founded Jane Storm. It is known for transforming brainstorming into Jane Storms. Her diverse career spans various sectors, including government agencies, insurance firms, nonprofits, banking, real estate, telecom, and so much more. She's trained over 250 global clients and coached legacy speakers. In 2022, she addressed massive audiences in India with her inspiring narrative of hope, which is an acronym for holding on to positive energy, promoting the theme, "We are one." Y'all, join with me in welcoming Jane McCarthy.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm great. It's so great to be here.
I'm so glad that you are here. As I was just sharing with you earlier, just your whole vibe is just a thing. I mean, so welcoming, so wonderful. And I'm just ecstatic to have you here on our show today. Thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. You know, my number one strength is positivity, so I lead with it.
Awesome. I love it. And I can tell it just oozes and it just comes here and it just permeates and permeates. I'm like, oh, I feel better already. Even if I was having a bad day, just by looking at your beautiful smile, it's like, okay, all is going to be okay in the world.
That's right. Yep. Amen.
Yeah. So Jane, tell us about yourself and a bit about your background and your journey.
So I had 30 years of experience at Verizon. In 2018, I was offered a package. I went to my financial advisor and she said, first out wins. And I said, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take this package. And I loved my job. I had job share. 20 years. I worked Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday out of my house in New York. My job share partner worked Wednesday, Thursday, Friday out of Virginia. She was the analytical Excel spreadsheet, Ivy League school, introverted relator. And I was the out in front of you creative, singing for our supper every day. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to take this package because when am I ever going to have this opportunity again? Right. And so I was going from call center to call center, talking about small biz rewards, the program I ran. I was like, what am I going to do with myself? And I remembered my vendor, Kobe Marketing. I walked in there 5 years prior, and there was a huge sign on the wall, and it said Jane Storm. I said, what is that? And they're like, when you show up, we don't brainstorm. We Jane Storm, because you connect people with it better than anybody we've ever known. And then I went to Master Networks, and I added Jane Storm, a positive force for your future. And from there, I said, this is going to be my business. And I became a coach, went through the first year of coaching, went to my teacher and said, I'd like you to coach me. She said, no, I want to teach you. And I went during the pandemic through the ICF, Professional Certified Coach Training and Certification. One of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, and the most rewarding. Because as you become a coach, you learn that it's not about advice, it's about powerful questions. And what happens is, as you are coaching others, you start to have to coach yourself. And it makes you step back and look at who are you and what are you doing, that you have to look inside and look at yourself. Wow. And so I've been coaching. And then one of my coach friends said, you really need to get into strength. Positivity's got to be up there. And so I became a strengths coach, which I love. You know, Don Clifton said 50 years ago, what would we do if we spent more time focusing on our strengths instead of our weaknesses?
Oh, that part.
That just made me realize it. It was just incredible.
Wow. That's so fantastic. And I love that you actually took the time and effort to go through the whatever it took to get through the course to become certified, which, I'm sure took discipline and rigor and, like you said, a lot of self-introspection, because I haven't ever been a coach before, but I can imagine that in coaching, you have to take yourself out of the equation and not allow your past experiences or whatever to influence how you support other people. Is that right?
Yeah. I have lots of Post-it notes in my office. And the one that sticks out every single time I coach is leave your expectations, your assumptions, and your ego at the door.
Love that.
And that can be used in every situation, right? If we could all just step back and leave that behind and be curious. Coaching is about curiosity and possibilities. That's really what it's about. And giving people the questions to dig deep to figure out what their next step is.
I love that. I love that. Be curious. I think the more curious we are as individuals, the easier it is to get along with people.
Yes. So true. Coming from questions of how and what, and taking, when you're in a conversation with someone, and it can be hard if you're in conflict, getting the you out of it and putting it about I. I teach about power versus force. When we're in force, you're in blame, anger, pride, ego, shame. And then if you're in a conversation, and every day this happens, right? You either want to get to neutral or you want to get to your power or strength. And when you're in your strength, you're in peace, you're in trust, you're in reason, understanding facts, and empathy, and feeling good about who you are. And when you can be in your power, you raise the vibration in the room. When you're in force, you bring the vibration down.
Right. So I can relate to that very well, because there's certain people, when they walk into a room, You feel it. You just feel it. Somebody who's negative just sucks the air out of the room and the whole vibe just shifts.
Yeah.
But somebody who's positive and hopeful and optimistic and enthusiastic about being curious, those people, it just kind of comes off of them. And it's like, it just goes bing, 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 and just lands on people, you know? And then they start to feel good and happy because you walked into the room with all your positive energy. I love that.
It's contagious. It's definitely contagious.
Yes, for sure. I agree with that 100%. I've seen it so many times. And unfortunately, I have to say, I was one of those people way back when I walked into a room, things changed and not for the better. And I was like, what is that? Why did I feel that? Why did that just happen? And so it took a boss of mine to really kind of have a heart to heart with me and take me aside, set me down and said, Renee, you're awesome at what you do, but you really need to work on your people skills.
So the fact that you took that to heart is so much. That's what coaching's about. That's about you hear what someone says and you realize you need to take the steps to move you to where you want to be.
Exactly. And it was hard. It was really hard because I didn't see what he was saying. He was saying all these words to me and I was like, what are you talking about? And
you were in force.
Right. And so he explained to me what's called blind spots. I learned the word blind spots.
That's part about strengths coaching. Yeah.
I did not like blind spots. And so he told me about myself. Oh, my word, Jane. When I tell you, I left his office in tears. And I called my husband on the way home because this was at the end of the day. I called my husband on the way home. I'm driving and trying to see through tears and everything. I said, honey, he said this and he said that. And blah, blah, and I'm, just pouring my heart out. And my husband goes, yeah, I've been trying to tell you that for years.
Oh, yeah.
That's not what I wanted to hear.
The fire hose of cold water coming right at you.
Right. I got no love, no sympathy, no empathy, no nothing. So here I am left with myself to deal with my stuff. And anyways, it was pretty funny. But it was from that experience that I learned back in corporate America that I really needed, like you said, take myself out of the equation, leave the ego at the door, be concerned and curious about what's going on in the lives of other people. Because one of the things my boss said to me was that you're going to need people. You can't do everything yourself. You're going to need to build relationships. You need to work on getting better at building relationships. And I was like, okay.
What's interesting about that is that you talk about, how you're influencing others. It's also influencing yourself. So while you were going through this process, you had to make a mind shift, right? So we talk about the mind clutter and what's between our ears. And you were able to release that mind clutter for the better. So you took the criticism, which you thought was criticism, and you did something with it. So bravo to you for taking that step and asking, whenever someone's looking at, my mother used to say, you're looking at a mirror, right? So when someone really annoys you, you have to look at yourself. You have to look back at what's angering me and what's my part in this? What's the story I'm telling myself? What's the story I'm telling myself? And once you really get, there's a difference between being authentic and vulnerable. When we're authentic, we say, I don't like how my boss told me that I'm not good with people. When we're vulnerable, you go the next step and say, I don't like when my boss told me how I was with people because this hurts me in this way and brings up X, Y, and Z. And so many of us get caught in just being authentic because we don't have time to be vulnerable. But when you get to the next layer and you're vulnerable, your whole world opens up.
Right. And I think further to that too, Jane, is not only being vulnerable, but not even stopping there about, why is this affecting me? Actually asking yourself, going further, asking yourself, why is this affecting me this way? And then getting to the root of that. And then asking yourself, is this really a truth? Or is this something that I have made up in my own head as truth, but it's not really a truth? Is it a lie that I'm believing?
Absolutely.
And so, there's so much introspection and so much work that goes into when you're trying to move from force to power.
Yeah, it's so true. It's
Yeah.
so true.
Yeah, absolutely. But when you do, it makes you a better leader. It makes you a better business owner. It makes you a better entrepreneur because you are taking the focus off of yourself and really thinking about how can I use what I have to be a blessing or to benefit somebody else with my gifts and skills and talents.
It works in every situation. When you think about, I've done it with my children. My son, so during the pandemic, we had a battle, a big battle. And he wanted to tell me everything I had done wrong over the last 18 years.
Oh
so
my
we had
gosh.
a composition book. And I held this in my hands. And every statement that he said, I asked myself, am I in force as he's telling me this, or am I in my power? And Renee, some of the things he said, I'm a parent, I'm a mother. It made sense. Yet there were things that he told me that were huge learning lessons. And because I could step back and be in power and strength and understanding, it changed the level of our relationship for the better.
Wow.
And so when you're in conflict, if you step back and you say, am I in force right now? How do I get to my strength? What are the steps I need to take? It is life-changing. Game-changing.
Wow. Well, kudos to him for having the courage to say something.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because that's not easy. I mean, your parents are people you look up to and, you respect. And, mine would, had this healthy fear. And so it's hard to sometimes come out and share your real feelings with somebody in authority that you love. And so congrats to him and kudos to him for doing that. And as a result, now your relationship is so much better. And the same is true at work in corporate America, like you said, with all relationships across the board. If more people shared their real thoughts, with people with an understanding of not just lobbing things out there, but with the end result of trying to become more unified in purpose and mission, that I think is just, game changer for the business or for the company.
Yeah, and that's the kind of work we do. We look at so you look at when someone's in conflict, you look at what are their, I have to do this. There's no way I'm not going to do this. And where am I going to negotiate? And where am I in my expertise? And where is the other person in their expertise? And how do we bring that together in strength? Because one of the things we do as strengths coaches, have you ever done the Strengths Finder, Clifton Strengths?
I can't remember. I've done a few different ones. I've done the DISC assessment, and I've done a Myers-Briggs, and but I don't know about the Clifton. I'll
have to send it to you. So one of the things that happens is when you get your top 10 for say, that's your 2020 vision. You're born with it. So like people that have strategic, you're born being a strategist. When you get to 10 to 24, you need glasses sometimes. You can do the work, but you need glasses. You need help. You can't do it alone. When you
Okay.
look at the bottom 34, so 29 to 34, that's like having sand in your eyes. You better have someone to help you. So I am not an Excel spreadsheet, Google Sheet person. I have people that help me.
Right.
I know now what I do well. And one of the things that entrepreneurs have a tendency to do is think they can do it all. And one of the coaching things that I teach is that you got to get out of your own head and out of your own way. Sometimes you have to spend the money and makes it work by having other people do what they do well and focus on your strengths.
Absolutely, 100%. And that's a great segue into what we do at Executive Help Now. That's our business, our virtual assistant service. And that's exactly what we do for clients. We help them get out of their own way. We have a team of people who love to do those things that you absolutely hate to do, or that maybe you even love to do, but they're not adding value to your business. And you should be spending your time doing other things while someone else does those things. So I completely agree, 100%. Get out of your own way, get rid of those things so that you can be your best version of your best self for the benefit of the whole entire company.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So Jane, tell me a little bit more about how you've come from so many different industries. How do you tailor this thought process or this system within so many different industries?
You know, my whole life is about people. So it doesn't really matter what industry you're in. People are people. So what happens is it's figuring out, it's not about me, it's about my clients. So it's finding out what they want. So every session is not about, it's what they're coming to learn. Every workshop is what are the principles or the mission that they want. So it doesn't matter what industry you're in, because each person is going to bring what they need to the table. And then my role is to have the right questions to ask to get them to think further, or to have the right training material to get them to get to the next level. So my goal always is to have them map out a path forward. And how do you do that to get into your power and into your strengths? So it's figuring out, the whole person. A lot of people get stuck in thinking, I want a career coach. I want a conflict coach. Really, when you're in an ICF role in the International Coach Federation, you're looking at the whole person. So we're looking at finance, health, personal, relationships, lifestyle, and just looking at it all as one piece. Because if one piece is off, it's like being on a wheel. It's not going to roll right.
That's right.
So when we're coaching, even in, I work in a large nonprofit bank. It's not about only what's happening in the bank. It's about what's happening in the person's life outside of the bank. Because when the person feels whole and can get to their map of their future, it's about everything.
Right. That makes me think about this book that's probably 100 years old. It's called the Big O. Let me see. Hold on. I think it's called The Big O. And then there's a subsequent, the second one in the series called The Big O Finds Its Missing Piece or something like that. It's by Shel Silverstein.
Yes.
Am I calling it the right thing? I may be calling it the wrong thing. Yeah. But anyway.
Silverstein, yeah.
Yeah, so that was one of the books that I read. It was such an easy read, but it really helped you think about how you are as a person, who you are as a person, and how you're operating and how you're rolling through life. And then if you get a chunk missing out, then you go clunking through life.
Yes.
So nobody wants to clunk through life. Exactly. And then the second book that talks about how the O finds its missing piece
Yeah.
is even a deeper dive into how you become whole as a person, so that you can get the most out of life that it has to offer. So it's really good. I highly recommend it. I hope I'm calling it the right thing. Maybe one of the team in the behind the scenes can help me out here with the name of this book, because it really is good. And I think it lends itself to what you are saying when you are thinking about the people that you're engaging with on a daily basis, and where they might be coming from, or where you might be coming from, and are there missing pieces that may be causing conflicts.
Yeah, it's called The Missing Piece Meets the Big O. And
yeah, reverse.
Yeah. And, you know, interestingly enough, when you're doing this work, the best, you'll ask any coach, the best times are the aha moments. When you see someone all of a sudden get it. It's like, oh, wow. That question evoked an emotion that brought them to the next level. And that's what coaching is. That's when you know you've done something that's powerful.
Yes, absolutely. You've impacted a life.
Yeah.
And then by impacting that life, the ripple effect of that is incomprehensible.
Which is why it's fun to work with teams too, because what happens, you know, in government agencies, a lot of the times, you know, we're working in teams with a very diverse organization. And so when people get to know each other, when they start to understand each other's strengths, when they actually take the time to see how one another ticks and how they tick together, or by the way, how they don't tick together and what are the steps they can take to make that happen. That's another powerful aha moment, to watch a team shift from being in conflict to now feeling like they've got some tools and steps to take control of what's in their control. That's the other big work, especially with women. We spend a lot of time wanting to be in control and stepping back and saying, what's in my control and what's not. And so much of what we want to control is out of our control.
That's right.
So much.
Yeah, absolutely. And coming to that realization, and even coming to the realization that you don't have to control everything is a huge milestone for some people. Because some people have power and control issues that, you know, go deeper than just what appear on the surface. And once you get to the root of that and you deal with the root of that, then it's like the control, and it doesn't control you. Having the control. Yes.
There's a 2-word question I ask my clients a lot, and it's, so what? So what? And you take that on a path, and you just keep asking yourself the same question. So what? This didn't happen. So what? My expectation is this. So what?
I had that. Those words are landing on me some kind of way.
Yes, right. It's so simple, but that's life, right? It's the simplest things. Try it this weekend. Try it with your husband. Try it with your kids. The minute you get up against force, ask yourself, so what?
Right. You know, that is so powerful, because I think I do that, but I was never able to put words to it. Like if my husband doesn't fill the dishwasher properly, you know, do I get aggravated about it? No, I go, whatever. And my word is whatever. But it's a so what? That's what it is. It's a so what?
Yeah. And then figuring out so what? And that gives you, because that leads you on a path, right? That leads you to the next step.
Yes. Yes. I really appreciate you being able to put words to a behavior that that is predominantly mine, I think, because I try to be a very positive person, very optimistic, glass half full, Skittles and rainbows all day. You know? I really, and some people are like, oh, that's just so fake. Nobody can be that way every day, all day. But I'm just like, that's just me and who I am and my personality. And I'm not going to be around your negativity trying to bring me down, telling me that I'm not who I am. So anyways, but that's what I say to myself. I don't say that out loud. But
so you are someone that's a hope activator, right? I'm creating a community of hope activators, people that want to hold on to positive energy. It does not mean that there are not things going on in your life. It does not mean that there are struggles that you're going to go through.
Right.
But it does mean that you have hope, you have possibilities, and you see the future.
Yeah.
That's what hope is to me.
Yes.
That is what it's about. It's about really looking at my mom in 2020 was diagnosed with cancer. And it was shocking. This was a vibrant 80-something-year-old woman. No one ever expected it. And I ended up coming to Florida and becoming her caretaker for over a 2.5-year period, with my sister pitching in and my brother and other sister as well at different times. One of the things I learned from her was really about hope, because at the end, when we had to put her on hospice in January of this, I can't even remember, this year, it's only been this year, my God. One of the things she said to the hospice nurses, I've got to figure out how I'm going to live while I know I'm dying. And I've got to get the people around me to understand it and be okay with it. That was hope. It was strength. It was wisdom. And it was not a good thing, but she knew that she was at the point where this diagnosis was going to be something that she was going to be able to help the world be able to get through it with grace. And she was able to do it.
Wow. How inspirational. How inspirational. That is so moving, and the perfect definition of hope. I mean, perfect. And I think that as long as you keep hope alive, then, and I'm sure that's somebody else's quote, but when you keep hope alive, it gives you strength and energy and just this optimism to keep looking forward to the next day, because it's got to get better, because it can always be worse. That's another one of my things. It can always be worse. So,
and when I'm actually in my mom's house today. She passed away in April. She was surrounded by all of her kids. She left us a legacy beyond anything that we could ever imagine. And I can feel her, Renee. I feel her energy. I feel her hopefulness is here. And I think whenever we can step back through our grief and embrace the beauty that comes with the struggle. One of my friends, actually two, Jennifer and Leah, came up with Brutiful. When you go through life and it's brutiful, and then you begin to bloom. You begin to bloom. And so even in that mud of cancer, which is horrendous, there was blooming that was happening with my mother's adult kids and her grandchildren that she was able to see and then leave behind, with writing and just a sense of love and hope for the world.
Wow. How blessed you are to be able to go through that and experience that with her.
Oh, it's a gift. Absolutely. It's a gift to walk someone home.
Yes.
It is an absolute gift.
And that you're able to hang on to for the memories of that person, and allow those memories to be your strength and to be your, help fuel you to keep on moving through the grief process to the other side, where you now still look forward to each day with optimism.
When I went to India for the second time, and we brought 17 people with us to speak in front of 700,000 people, which is outrageous in itself.
Right.
was in the middle of her cancer diagnosis. And I remember getting up on stage and thinking, and I said to her, Mom, do you want me not to go to India? She said, you've got to get out there, Janie. You've got to get out there to the world. You've got to spread that message of hope. That is your job. I will feel better if you do that. And I got up on that stage, and my mother was on this shoulder with me as I spoke about hope and what it means in the communities in India. I spoke about when we are in a village and we come together, we bring hope. When we don't speak the same language, but we look at each other's hearts, we bring hope. When we have the ability to be curious about another culture, we learn and have hope. And oh my God, it's a gift.
Yes, absolutely. We see you on the screen here in India, and it looks like you're preaching the message to the whole congregation.
Yeah, I was.
That is so beautiful and so powerful. And it just brings a smile to my face. Because yes, we are one. I belong to a church here in Norcross, Georgia. It is the most multicultural church in America. Yeah. There are 140 different nationalities of people in our church.
I want to come visit.
It is amazing. It is a beautiful thing to be a part of something so fantastic and to have all of these people from all these varying backgrounds to talk to about different things and hear their stories and where they've been and what they've been through and how they overcame and how, it's like just hearing what other people had to go through. It's like you may be thinking, oh, my life is so whoa, I've been through so much, life is just too hard. But then you hear some of their stories and you'd be like, that was nothing. Not that we want to compare horror, backgrounds or whatever. But it's like you just know that things could have always been worse. Even though it seems like it's bad, it could have always been worse. And I think that is kind of what helps me to stay positive and optimistic and grateful, having an attitude of gratitude for what I do have as opposed to what I don't or what didn't happen or what, whatever. Do you know what I mean?
I love to say there are 14,600 minutes in a day. What if we took many of those minutes to be grateful?
Absolutely.
What if we just had to be grateful?
Yes.
It's the little acts. Yesterday, I was walking with a friend and these a couple walked by us. They looked magnificent. And I said to them, you guys look incredible. They got so excited. And they, like the man and the woman, it was a little thing. Say what you feel. Be positive. Give compliments.
Yes.
You could make someone's day just by using your words in a happy way and giving a compliment. Just a little thing goes a long way in this world. There's so much negativity. The news is horrendous. If we could just shift it and speak from our hearts and bring in that positive energy of giving a smile, saying something nice about someone, it makes a difference. This weekend, I would tell everybody that's listening to this, write a note to someone you love. Tell them why you love them. Tell them why you love them. If there's someone you respect, let them know why you respect them.
Yes. And even if it's a text, even if it's a text message, how about that?
If you have a parent that's alive, get on the phone and call them. From someone that doesn't have parents alive anymore, take the time to do it. If you're in a disagreement, figure out what that looks like. And if you're okay with it, and if you're not, make it better.
Right.
You have the control over how you want to live your life.
That's right. And holding on to unforgiveness and that bitterness, it just eats away at you. And that takes energy too. So if you got to use energy, use it in a positive way.
And it doesn't mean you have to forgive. You can forgive the person and not move on with them. It's up to you how you want to do that. And it all goes back once again to force and control. Force and power.
Force and power. I love it. What great, great, great advice. I just absolutely, I feel so empowered. It's like I have a kindred spirit here.
Yes,
Eye to
no,
eye.
absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So, can you discuss with us, Jane, like an experience that you had or a memorable success story that you've had where somebody may have been in a particular place in the past, but because of their coaching with you, then things change for them?
Yeah, working with an executive, a female, uh, going through this happens a lot. Worried about other people's opinions, which I also say get off the left shoulder, and
Mhm.
and also in a male-dominated world, there's a lot of mind clutter,
Mm.
and so women have a tendency to give up their worthiness, give up their value, in order to be liked, in order to be a leader, in order to move forward. And working with this one woman, it was stepping back and asking her, what are the things that you feel you do well? She had a really, really hard time doing that. And so I then said, go to people you trust in different parts of the organization and ask them what they see are your strengths. And she got them back, and it was a massive aha moment because she had no idea other people saw her as she is. And then as we started to work on it, she would start to notice, oh, that is coming up. Oh, I do see that I do this. And she was able to begin to own it. Because it's one thing when someone tells you it, it's another thing to internalize it and believe it. So getting the external confirmation or external feedback and then bringing it back into yourself and seeing how it sits with you and how you want to move further as a leader, as a team, that's where the magic is. And it's those aha moments. It's when you see someone all of a sudden go, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
You would, so what? There was something about that. There was a visceral reaction. As a coach, when you have a visceral reaction from your client, you know that there's going to be a breakthrough. It starts to happen. You start to see it. And then it's a matter of building the blocks to go further and further down the path of success.
I love that. I love that. Jane, thank you so much for what you do and helping people get to these realizations in their lives. Yeah. Dig into, what is holding them back and freeing them from that so that they can go on and live their best life, be the best leader, and whatever role that they have, whether it's being a mom or being a boss or being a, whatever it is, just doing their absolute best. That is so fantastic. So how can we find you? I know our time is wrapping up. How can we find you? We want to continue the conversation, get to know you a little bit better, maybe consider you for your services because they're so life-changing. People need to know how to reach you.
JaneStorm.com. That's my website. I am on also on LinkedIn, very active on LinkedIn. I do a lot of training on LinkedIn. I do a lot of work on LinkedIn to get people to the next level. So that is Jane McCarthy, PCC. And I'm on Facebook, Jane Storm, a positive force for your future. Follow along, talk to me, interact. I love meeting new people. I've met more people than the last 4 years than I have in my whole entire life. And it's been one of the best experiences from every race, color, creed, circumstance. And it's been a blessing and will continue to be.
Yes, absolutely. I am claiming that for you.
Yes. Thank you.
I love it. I love it. Your website is beautiful. Your Facebook pages, we're showing it on the screen for those that are listen only mode. Definitely check out Jane at janestorm.com and follow her on all the socials. You will not regret it. Well,
And I'm also on Instagram as JaneStorm_Hope Activator, because I am building a Hope Activator community. And Renee Hastings, you are now part of that community.
I love it. Love it. Love it. Absolutely. Count me in.
Yay!
Well, Jane, you were made for something great. So go and be awesome.
Thank you. You too. You too, my friend.